Hi everyone, this is Debbie from Project 39 Mini Albums, and I am so excited to show you this latest mini album I made. This is using the Hello Winter collection from Cartabella. The collection, the other elements I got, and the paper all came from Country Craft Creations, and this is a design team project. The Cartabella paper, I actually didn't get a collection pack because when I wanted to order it, there were just single sheets, which was fine. I ordered a bunch of single sheets, and if you want to know which ones I ordered, take a look at my haul video, which I'll link above. And besides the paper, I did get the chipboard frames, and this came from the chipboard frames, and so did that. I also purchased some, or got in my design team, some seam binding. I got it in the navy blue, light blue, and light gray, and all of those colors look fabulous with this. Also, I had gotten from Country Craft Creations this, I call it Snowballs ribbon. I think it's still available, and if so, I'll link it in the description box below. I got a pack of the ephemera to match the collection and enamel dots to match the collection. This snowflake came from my stash. I sort of feel like I need to color it a different blue, and so did this baker's twine. But yeah, most everything came from Country Craft Creations. I did add this Tim Holtz. I know there's a word for it. You guys may know. And these two things were from my stash. I had a couple of different ribbons, but I did add some seam binding and the snowball ribbon. And then I think the snowflake, the key, the flower, and this tassel were all from my stash. So I put that on as a decorative element on the spine, and I sort of like how that looks. So I did use some seam binding as a closure. This mini album measures 6.5 by 8.5 with a 3-inch spine, and you will see that it looks pretty chunky, but there is still lots of room to put your photos. And worst come to worst, you've got the seam binding to close it. Oh, I wanted to show you, so this paper comes up, you can put a photo here. Obviously you'd have to cut down a 4x6 and put it on there, or you could have made this into a shaker if you want. I didn't want to do a shaker. I like the idea of putting a great snow scene picture there. In addition to the enamel dots, I do have some of the leftover ephemera pieces. This was a frame that I just cut down. It's turned over and stuck there, and this was another piece of ephemera. It said something on it, but I just wanted just a little touch of a decorative element. So that is the cover. Yeah, and there's the seam binding. Let me take you inside and let's see what it is. And by the way, after this project share, there is the full free tutorial, so you can stay to the end and then watch the tutorial, or you can just go ahead and sign off then. If you do, please go ahead and hit the like button. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe, and I've got some other things coming up, so you certainly want to hit the bell for notifications so you know when more things are coming. So in the front inside cover, I have a side pocket, and I put some of the cut aparts on there. I just used a Wear Memory Keepers stub and something punch, I forget, for that. And then the back is plain, giving you room to journal on. And this is about 7 by 5.5, so you could put a 5 by 7 photo on here, cutting it down just a smidge, or a 4 by 6 photo would fit perfectly with room to journal on the side. And the back has lots of room to put your photo and lots of room to journal, because you want to tell about who's there and where you went and what's the date and all that, so you won't forget all those details. All right, so this page, the front of page 1, has a pocket with a piece of the ephemera and a photo mat. and this will open like that, and then this will open like that. There is a little tuck spot. Now if you wanted to, you could just put your 4x6 photo there and that'll look perfectly fine, or you could tuck it into that little pocket. We'll take my word for it. You can tuck it into the pocket, or just put a smaller photo, or whatever you want. Room on the side for a photo, of course, and you can stick a photo down here. I left that open. And this will open like that, and again, this is open at the top. So, great room to put your pictures, your journals, your memory. And this is a hidden pocket page mini album, so there is room for your 4x6 photo right on there, or you could cut down 4x6 here and then journal there. It depends on the orientation of your photos. Alright, so this page actually opens like this, and this is the spread. But as you saw when it opened this way. In retrospect, I should have taken a piece of cardstock, I'll show you with a piece of this, and put it in the pocket and then folded it over like this and used a magnet here. There's a magnet there, but then this will open. So if you want to keep that closed, you could do that. I didn't do it. I didn't want to add to the tutorial since I already have made the album and didn't want to confuse people. But if you'd like to add that. Otherwise, this will open that way. And so these decorative papers are open at the top, so you can stick your photos in there, or ephemera, or whatever you want. This one is open at the top. And then this actually opens like that. And then room here for your photo. And then this will open that way. And room to put your photo, your photo either up here or down there. Of course, you'd have to cut down a 4x6 or use a 3x3 or journal. Or you could put the photo just like that. Nothing wrong with that. It actually adds a nice decorative touch to it. And then this flap will open to the top. This flap will open to the bottom, and then room there to put your full-size photo. And if you wanted to, you could tuck it under where it says home, and room to put your photo there as well. So this will close like that, and there's a magnet there. And then this page will open like that, and then this will come open that way, and that flap opens. You could stick a photo in here and put one up there, and then this will open, so there is room here for 8 photos. This and this, this and this, and room to put photo there. And room to put your photograph right on that page, tucking it into the snow. Or just put it up there. Lots of options. I like giving you lots of options. There's your hidden photo mat. And these are just simply a piece of heavyweight white cardstock. Alright, let's open this page. Love this green plaid, and especially how that goes with the pine trees and pine cones. So this page opens like that, and then we've got these flaps. That'll go that way to reveal a pocket. And there is also a photo mat there. And that is open at the top. These were from the cut apart page. So we go like that, close it, and there we go. Now this comes up, so if you would like to add a little photo to here or to the back, or just leave the pine cone on it as a decorative element. And room for your full-size photo there, and this will open, and that'll open, and there is a pocket. And there's your hidden photo mat. All right, so this page will open like this and like that. And of course you can put your photographs right there. Your 4x6 will fit there. And as well, this is a shaker. This comes out, and if you wanted to, you could stick a little photo on here and stick it back in there. So it'll show through all the little shaker things. This just sort of closes like that, and as you see, it's got some snowflakes in it and all sorts of fun things. And then that comes up a little bit to give you room to put your picture there. So this will close, and that brings us to this page, and this simply comes up, and then this simply comes down, and then there are just a cut apart with backing, and then here is a piece from the ephemera, and there is that Winter Wonderland paper. So those will all stay right there. Hidden photo mat, and there we go. All right, so this home was from the cut apart sheet. I double matted it, and put it on this page, which was a cut apart. I don't remember what it said, but that is held down with a magnet, and it'll come up that way. Oh, I'm sorry for the shadow. That'll come that way. Try to make that go away. And then this also will open this way. Room to put a photograph there. And this will open. And this gives you a little tuck spot. So you could put your photo right here on this page. I mean, I think that looks fabulous. Or you could tuck it into there. And then same with this. You would need a smaller photo. I mean, that's 4x6, so that'll fit like that. Or you could just cover that whole thing and put it right there. Oops. And then this is just a belly band. And there we go with that. So this closes, so does that. And then here again, this is tucked into that chipboard frame, and room to put photos and journaling if you want. Photo mat. Whoops. So I did not put a magnet, as you can see here. I should have, just didn't, forgot, I don't know. But don't you love that this is a deep navy? It may look black in the photo, but it's a very deep navy. So this page will come up, this page will go down, and this is just sitting in there. I mean, you could put it that way if you wanted to. This goes this way, this goes that way. And then the back page, those of you who see my mini albums know I like to put a pocket with a flap on the top, giving you room for all those extra photos that you didn't put in the book and don't want to throw out, or ticket stubs from your ski trip or whatever you have. So this is from the cut aparts, and that's just, oh, I can go like that, and then this closes. And this time I just have a magnetic closure on it, and then this will bring you to the last page, which is this with the words on it. And there is my dangle, and here we are back to the front of the book. And as I said, this paper as of right now is still available at Country Craft Creations, and don't be afraid of piecing together a paper pack if the collection kit is not available, or really use whatever paper you want. I enjoyed using the Cortabella paper just because it's so luxurious, but any of the paper collections will work for this. So go ahead and hit the like button right now before you go into the tutorial. If you want the tutorial, stay tuned and I'll bring it to you now. And that's what I have for you today, if this is where you are going to sign off. Thank you again for watching. Have a fabulous day. And as I mentioned, I don't go into detail on making the cover of the mini album because I have a video that is linked in the description box below just to save time on this video. You really can make the cover any way you want, but you will need to start with 2 pieces of chipboard that are 6.5 by 8.5, and for the spine you'll need a piece of chipboard that's 2 3/4 by 8.5. To cover the chipboard I use 2 pieces of cardstock that are 8.5 by 10.5, and to cover the spine, it's 5 3/4 by 10.5. The pages, by the way, are going to be 6 by 8, and I do show you how I do the hinge and make the base pages and all of the elements on the covers. So I am going in really fast motion showing you the cover, and I will pick back up when it is time to make the hinge. All right, and to make the hinge, you're going to need an 8 by 8 piece of cardstock. You're going to score every 1/2 inch. So start at 1/2 inch and go all the way to 7.5. Then I put the hinge into my paper trimmer and trim off just a sliver on each side. And now I go ahead and fold to make the hinge. I fold in between each set of hinges and then grab it with my fingers. So you'll have just a piece of paper, hinge, hinge, gusset, hinge, hinge, gusset, hinge, hinge, etc. So here I'm putting the glue in and squeezing those hinges together so they'll stay. I try to hold it down so it has a chance to dry. I'm putting it here on a mat and use my bone folder to make sure that glue gets all over. And then I'm going to take those last 2 flaps and fold them inside into the back. Tamara of Country Craft Creations has a much better tutorial on how to do this, and I also have another one on my channel. So now that that's all done, I'll go ahead and dry fit it and see exactly where it's going to go on the hinge of the book. And being pretty generous with the glue, I put it down and make sure it's even. And I start from the center and use my fingers to burnish that. Then I'll grab my bone folder and move all of the hinges one direction, then move them all in the other, and just keep pushing it down. And so there we go. There is the book with the hinge in, and now we're going to make our base pages. So for the base pages, it's going to be just a tube. So you'll need 5 sheets of 6 by 8, and you will need 5 sheets that are 6 by 9. You're going to take the 6 by 9 with the 9-inch side at the top, score at 1/2 inch and at 8.5. I'm just going to do one here to show you how to do it, and you'll go ahead and do the other 4. I'll grab my scissors and just miter the corner up to the score line. And then I will fold and burnish on those scores. I like to turn it upside down. And fold and burnish and get a nice crisp fold. And then I'll add my liquid adhesive to the little tabs. And I, of course, like using liquid adhesive. Number 1, this art glitter glue from the Art Glitter Institute, which has no glitter, it's just a good glue, allows you some time for flexibility, and it helps the fibers of one sheet of paper bind to the fibers of the other sheet. I used to use score tape to put papers together, and just over time have found that the art glitter glue works real well in all sorts of humidities and different situations. So I more and more change to use that. You might find me using score tape here and there. But now I'm going to miter each of those hinges, and I just go in about 1/4 inch and go down about 1/4 inch, or halfway down each of the hinges on both sides. This just gives me a little more space to get my base page tube onto the hinge. All right, I'm trying to show you that little cut. So it's just 1/4 inch from the top, 1/4 inch down. And then I will use glue to add the pages. I always start from the back. I dry fit again just to make sure and see where it's going to go. See if I need to trim it anymore, and it's pretty good here. So I'll add glue to both sides of the hinge. Just a generous bead. I don't go crazy with it or else it'll slip slide away, and you really don't need that much to make sure everything adheres well. So I put it on both sides, and I take that tube and put it over that hinge, eyeball it to make sure that it is even. I think I have just about 1/8 of an inch showing on that hinge from the spine going up. I grab my cloth and wipe any oozing glue. That's why you don't want to put too much down. You don't want to make a mess. So burnish with your bone folder, wipe any glue drips off, and then put in the rest of your 4 pages, and then we'll go ahead and add the elements to each of the pages in the book. All right, we're going to work on page 1, the front of page 1, and for that you're going to need 2 pieces of cardstock that are 4.5 by 6.5, 1 piece that's 5.5 by 7.5, 1 piece that's 6.5 by 4, and you're going to need 1 piece that's 1.5 by 5 3/4, and you'll score it 3/4 of an inch, and 2 that are 4.5 by 1 3/4, and no, that's not 1 3/4, 1.5, and score at 3/4. So we're going to work on this pocket, the 6.5 by 4 first, and since it's a pocket, we're going to score on the 2 short sides and 1 long side. I'm just going to score, and rotate, and then I will trim the corners and then fold and burnish. I'll move my scoreboard away. I'm going to fold and burnish. And so this is going to go on the larger paper, and that will fit right on the front of that flap. So put it on the bottom. That's the 6.5, I'm sorry, the 5.5 by 7.5 page. Do a little surgery to my glue nozzle. I probably should have done that trick that I like where you just add glue to the bottom flap and then tape it so you can make it so nothing will get stuck in there, but I forgot. So we're going to just put that down like that, burnish, and then I just sort of push that in a little bit just so that flap will open. And now I'm going to take this 1.5 by 5 3/4. It just happens to be the size of a scrap I had. So I'm going to just miter the corners. And we are going to, I folded it, I'm going to add glue, whoops, not for the whole thing, to just the bottom half. And very carefully, I'm going to put that in, centering it. I guess I didn't have to miter that. And actually, before it's dry, I'm going to cut it so it's flat, and I'm getting glue all over the place. But of course it'll be covered up by pattern paper, so I'm not freaking out. All right, so I just have it halfway on the right side, and then I'm going to do the same with these other 2 flaps. I'll put one on the right side and one on the left side. One's going to have this little piece on the right side, one's going to have this little piece on the left side. I'm centering it and centering it on the page. I guess I can't glue and talk at the same time. All right, and there's the other one, which I'm going to put this one on the left side. before I go any further, I'm going to erase my measurements on there. I just don't want them to show. All right, let us grab the book. I always go through and mark lightly the pages just to keep myself straight. So we'll start with the 5.5 by 7.5, and I'm going to line up the fold of this little flap, and that's going to go onto the right hand side of the page. So center it. It's going to be centered on the page. There will be about 1/4 of an inch all around that page. Then I'll open that up, burnish again, and the one that's got the flap on the left side, of course, will go on the left hand side of the page. And just go to the page, don't go to the bottom of the hinge. So go to where that what do I want to say, tube, and put that on there. And then this one is going to go on top of the other 1 1/2 inch paper. And again, this will be centered top to bottom on this other little mechanism. And so there we go. So you're going to have that and that. So it's just as if you had a 1/2 inch flap extra, but it sticks into the page a little bit and just adds a little bit of a decorative element. Now, if you'd like, add a magnet onto the back of the larger flap and magnet on the front of the 4.5 flap that's to the left, just to keep everything together. So that is page 1 front. Okay, we're going to work on the the back of page 1. So for that, you'll need a piece of cardstock 8 by 12. You'll need 2 pieces of cardstock 4 3/4 by 6, and you'll need one 4 3/4 by 4 1/4. I'm going to grab my scoreboard, and the 4 3/4 by 4 1/4 we're going to score with the 4 3/4 side at the top. Score at 4 1/4. The one of the 4 3/4 by 6, you're going to put the 4 3/4 size at the top, and score it half. And you're going to do the same with the other one, 4 3/4 side at the top, score it a half. Now this one that is 8 by 12, you're going to score at a half. And you're going to score at 6 1/4. All right, we're going to miter all the tabs. Of course, on this large one, you're just going to do at that 1/2 inch tab. You'll miter on the 4 3/4 by 6. And of course on that flap. And I'm going to fold and burnish. So we're all ready to put the pages in the book. So on this one, the 8 1/2, you're going to turn it upside down and fold first. Oops, on that, and then fold. I'm going to open it up and fold here. So it's going to go there. And let's grab our book. And the larger one we're going to do first, the 8.5 by 12. I'm going to put glue on the tab. And this is going to go on the left-hand side of the page. I'm just going to open it up entirely. Open that. Make sure it's even with the left-hand side. And fold and varnish. So there we go with that. I folded it wrong, so this is going to go that way and then open that way. And then we're going to take one of these and adhere it to the top of the page. Go all the way over to the score line, but just make sure this will still close. And add adhesive, liquid adhesive, because it gives you some room to work. And this one will go on the bottom of the page. Like that. And then we'll open it all up, and this flap is going to go on the right hand side of the page. And when you put it on, make sure you don't go stay on the page where the tube was, don't go onto the hinge. So that'll go there. So make sure there's enough room for these to fold and also for that to fold. So there we go. And then if you'd like, you can add a magnet to the back of this smaller flap and here, so that will stay closed. All right, now we're going to go do the front of page 2. And that is how I made my Winter Wonderland mini album as a design team project for Country Craft Creations. Don't forget to look in the description box for links to the supplies, and feel free to share your pictures on the Facebook group Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations if you use this mini album. I'd love to see what you make. Thank you again for watching. Have a fabulous day.